Codex for Andraste. Codex for the Disciple of Andraste. Both excellent reads if you have the time. The Black City Codex. Basically, the way the Chantry's teaching goes is that the Maker, a divine being of some sort, had a palace within the Fade called the Golden City. And then, eons ago, man in his hubris decided to enter the city and look upon the Maker with their own eyes. Some say even these humans intended to overthrow the Maker and take his place on the Golden Throne. Which sounds a little allegorical, or however the hell you say it. Sounds like just a story. But in these humans, in reaching the quote-unquote Golden City, they found it was nothing but black, tainted, and corrupted. And then it goes on to say, and that's where Darkspawn come from. So, yeah. Ultimately, it sounds like a very allegorical story. But if you've played the Dragon Age Inquisition, not a Dragon Age Inquisition, but the Dragon Age 2 downloadable content Legacy, you learn that there might be a little bit more truth to that than you was first thought. Really? Did I just run into that chandelier? I totally did. I did just run into the chandelier. Look at this. Let me just look at this. My guy's so tall, he's hitting his head on stuff.
Researcher Minave wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number. Yes. Thank you for your...
Here we go. Yay! Schematics. Schematics are better than gold. Well, not better than gold. They're as good as gold. That's what they are. Oh, you guys are loud. Lots of unrest there. Yay. Crafting materials. Also excellent. In a book, The Fade. Okay. So, basically the Fade is kind of an in-between place between heaven and hell. Almost a purgatory-like place, where there are lots of spirits. And they all take on various attributes based on their own innate desires and what they see in mortals. So there are good spirits, spirits of compassion, spirits of faith, spirits of hope, and then there are not so nice spirits that are more like that are classified as demons. The demons of rage, of pride, of desire, of sloth. And I'm just a mercenary, so...
Demons are pouring from the sky, and you're worried about land claims. Haven is the Durelion's rightful property.
Has Empress Selene officially acknowledged your possession of Haven? I was unaware Her Imperial Majesty had conferred with the Queen of Ferelden on this matter.
The Empress has not yet had the opportunity to do so.
And she's not gonna.
We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact,
opportunistic or legion.
New alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
That's really what it is.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile. Let's hope his arrogance doesn't return.
Even should he leave, the Marquis will share his thoughts on us upon his return to Battle Royale. Every guest we receive, and we will receive them, will spread the Inquisition's story. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed
Oh yeah, this game is horrible for that. The only game that is worse than this is, for side quests, is Shadow of Mordor. And that's because I just go around, when I play it, I just end up hunting, when I played it, rather, because I've beaten it. But I'd go hunting captains. That's what I did. That was how I played the game. No time for politics.
If wandering by is as stubborn as the Marquis, what good is it talking to them?
Every kingdom is subject to its lords. The Inquisition will require their goodwill to survive. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
And completing side quests is never a bad thing, because it does help you level up. As does turning in.
If you find anything, please bring it in.
What do you call it?
Only the word. Sing only
Fragments from your enemies.
Then the golden city is thine.
Let's go through this door. Book on the Maker, and this is the this is basically the chant right here. So if you read this, you are reading the chant. One of my favorite moments in Dragon Age Origins involved a chanter, one who can only speak the chant. You get to Lothlorien, and you can talk to a chanter, and there's a point where you go, chanter says what, and then the AI, the NPC goes what, and then a little boy standing next to him is like, oh, you got him to speak.
Not as well as it should. How can people focus on trivialities when faced with a breach?
It is easy for us to imagine that mundane matters fall aside in tumultuous times. The Chant of Light does not speak of feeding troops or arranging meetings or any such mundane concerns. But every organizational detail you contend with, Andraste herself once faced. These trivialities are steps on your path to victory, even if history never remembers them.
I thought I made it clear that I'm not the Herald of Andraste.
I understand. Whatever you believe, there remains a task to be done. If the faith of the people is nothing but a tool, then I beg you to use it well. We will all perish if you do not. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Can you tell me about the original Inquisition?
The original Inquisition was formed after the First Blight, well before the Chantry as we know it. The Inquisitors were hunters, zealots, who tracked and killed cultists and dangerous mages. As Andraste rose to power, the Inquisition came into her service. Instead of hunting those who would do harm, the Inquisitors spread the chant of light by force.
No wonder everyone is so nervous around us. Who chose that name?
Divine Justinia herself. I understand that this was not a popular decision. In any case, once the chant of light had spread far and wide, there was less need for zealots. The Inquisitors became the seekers of truth, and eventually the Templars.
This is a dark chapter of history for the Divine to revisit.
Do you know what impresses me most about the original Inquisition? They fought horrific battles, killed and died for their cause, and when it was time, they put their swords away. Perhaps the name was Divine Justinia's message, that when the Inquisition is needed, it will strike without mercy. But when its work is done, it will put its sword away.
I don't believe I've had the chance to speak candidly with a revered mother. Can you tell me about the Chantry?
Of course. Too many think that the chant of light should only be sung by humans. The truth is that knowledge of the Maker and Andraste should be open to all who wish to learn of him. We believe the Maker created us, and that mankind's sinful nature caused him to turn away. With Andraste's blessing, the Maker will forgive mankind once the chant of light is sung from all
only
corners
mortals.
of
Thanks for the follow.
Why does the Chantry allow only human women to become priestesses?
The official doctrine is that elves and dwarves have turned further from the Maker than humanity. And as for men, the chant holds that they are more vulnerable to anger or passion. But in truth, it is simply political, added after Andraste's death, like too many of our beliefs.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
If you don't believe these restrictions are what Andraste wanted, why haven't you tried to change them?
Has the current state of the world not taught you the folly of fighting too many battles at once? I chose to use what power I had to help peasants forgotten by the nobles of Orlais. I believed there would be time to address their inequality under the Chantry once we had saved them from starving.
There were calls for an exalted march to put down the Mage Rebellion. What was your opinion?
It was ignorant gossip. An exalted march only succeeds when it carries the will of the people. Even then, it cannot be undertaken lightly. People are too easily frightened. We cannot destroy everything they fear. An exalted march is justified only against a true threat to this whole world. It is an offense to the Maker to use it as a political bludgeon, or as a means of spreading the chant of light.
What about the exalted march that conquered the elves?
That is a hotly debated matter in some circles of the Chantry. The elves had conquered Montsemard and threatened Val Royeaux itself. They were not helpless victims. But even then, Orlais was the only nation to provide troops. It was hardly an exalted march of all the faithful. The Maker wishes his world to spread by example, not by war. We win no converts with blood.
Yeah, so
Farewell.
Farewell.
some interesting conversations there. Before summoning the War Council, let's go ahead and use this tactic. Yeah, I'll go ahead and add Death from Above. That way, the next ability I can get Leaping Shot. This ability is extremely useful because you jump, do a backflip, and then fire a bunch of arrows all at once at the enemy. Which, if you have somebody coming into melee range, it gets you out of the way and will deal damage, which is just, it's extremely useful, without a doubt. Yeah. Now. Do I want enhanced studies or this one right here? Those are the two that'll get me the most XP this early. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get enhanced studies. So we'll complete the build watchtowers operation. Let's get the Bog Unicorn. It's a little freaky, to be honest. Take care of Hardened Hidetown from Varric. This one. Take care of that with Liliana. Don't want to go to the Storm Coast just yet. Or to Foul Marshes, the marshes. Unlock the Black Emporium. You can actually get a lot out of the Black Emporium. There's some really, really good schematics. I mean, everything is really expensive there, but there are some excellent schematics there. So if you get the opportunity, it's a free DLC, so take it.
Having the Herald address the clerics is not a terrible idea.
You can't be serious.
Mother Giselle isn't wrong. At the moment, the Chantry's only strength is that they are united in opinion.
And we should ignore the danger to the Herald.
Let's ask him.
I'm more concerned this won't actually solve any problems.
I agree. It just lends credence to the idea
Oh, yeah.
that we should care what the Chantry says.
It's completely
I
free,
will go
and
with
it's. I mean, when I
Father Giselle
re-downloaded the
could provide
game
us names.
on X1,
But why?
I ended up
This
getting
is nothing but a...
What choice do we have?
getting it for
Liliana?
free
Right now we can't approach
with the
anyone
game,
for
so I didn't have to
help.
download it extra. But if you've got it on,
Here's what
if you
we
have
do
this
when
game
we
on
have
360,
all the clerics together.
yeah, you
Once they are ready,
will have to go ahead
we
and
will
download
see
it for
this
free.
through.
Same with the multiplayer downloads. I would recommend getting those. Though unfortunately you don't have all of them because with the latest update, the Silent Sister is not available on 360 consoles, which is a little, or the PS3 console. Just a little unfortunate, but what you gonna do? They are no longer providing support for those consoles.
city still mourns.
Just a guest seeker, but I think they all know who we are.
Your skills of observation never fail to impress me, Varric.
My Lord Herald.
You're one of Leliana's people. What have you found?
The Chantry Mothers await you, but so do a great many Templars.
There are Templars here?
People seem to think the Templars will protect them from the Inquisition. They're gathering on the other side of the market. I think that's where the Templars intend to meet you.
Only one thing to do, then.
Oh yeah, the other thing about the
They wish
Black
to
Emporium,
protect the people?
they have every crafting resource
Return
that you can find in the game. Well, except for Dragon Bones. I think Dragon Bones are like the only ones that they don't have. But they have everything else. Which is just amazingly, amazingly useful. Yeah. As fun as it was to see Solus walking around with this Qunari armor. We'll give him the apprentice armor again. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe later. And let's... And we'll give that to Varric, because Varric needs better armor than the scout armor that he's got. Aw, come on, where's the chest hair? Varric's supposed to have a lot of chest hair, man.